Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. It's Constance the Reader. Today is Friday and we're starting a new vlog. So, yeah. I haven't read much, but I have been reading. So we're going to start it off really strong with the manhwa I literally just finished. But we're also going to talk about some stuff that I finished, like one thing, and then what I'm going to be finishing before the month is over, because today is the 29th of May. We don't have that long left, but we still have a few days left in the month. So I am determined to finally finish Heated Rivalry. I am so close to being done. I'm on page 298. I mean, this is how much I have left. So we will be reading this tonight and hopefully finishing it. And I never finished the final chapter of Trick Mirror. This was my sister's pick for last month. So I wanted to finish this. Wait, yeah, oh my God, yeah. Because the month of May is my month. Oh, girl, I also got to finish my book, which I'm almost done. I'm listening to, oh, let's look it up really quick. I think it's Kill Mine, Kill Yours. Where's my Hoopla app on the iPad? We've been getting a lot of use out of the iPad, which has been nice. Nope, we're not turning on notifications. I hate being notified. So, okay, Kill Yours, Kill Mine by Katherine, Kovacic. I am like 50% of the way done. Audiobooks are easy for me once I hit that 50% mark because things just start going quickly, but it's Friday. The book club is on Sunday, so I must finish this. My mom finished it, and then my sister will be finished with it. I don't know about my cousin, but we will be getting it done. So these three I have to finish before this month is over, because that's the right thing to do. A manga that I finished was Shoot Juliet Down Volume 2. I really like this, and I'm assuming that there will be a third volume. There might not be. Wait, hold on. Oh yeah, end of part 1. So we will probably see some more, but I'm not sure when a Volume 3 comes out. I did like this, and I loved the art style. This is really interesting, especially because we get to see more about like the background of our main characters. I think specifically more about these two. So it is, oh shit, I can't remember her name. I think her name is Mary, and yeah. So Mary and then Juri. So Juri is Juliet, and then Akatsuki is the guy on the front, who is going to be the, oh, slow down. The point is that Akatsuki, he joins a host club, and the #1 host is Juri. He wants to learn from Juri, but then he starts to develop feelings for him. There might be a little something, except Mary is like the #1 person in Juri's life. We start to see like what the dynamic is between them. Apparently Mary is a porn star, and she comes to this host club all the time, and she'll spend some money, but I thought that learning more about them in this one was really interesting. And it kind of just really showed like the way that people can exploit you when they know that you love them. And that's kind of like the reoccurring theme through this of like, you know, will you let love ruin you? It can either be, okay, this person is financially abusing you, physically abusing you, or, you know, a one-sided love with someone who doesn't think that they deserve love. So I thought that this was interesting. So I'm excited to continue on with the series whenever the third volume comes out, because I'd like to see where we're going with this. Do we need to take down whoever was responsible for where Mary and Juri are now? It'll be interesting to see. Akatsuki might be going to a completely different host club. Will that come up again? It seems like they're living together. Who knows? But interesting. Very interesting. Now, the manhwa I read, let me get the name right. I literally just finished this. I even had to take notes because, interesting. Not highly rated. Just gonna put that out there. Locked Up by My Mad Dog. Now, not the worst thing I've ever read in my entire life, but not my favorite, I should say. I'm glad I didn't spend my coins on it. I just watched ads for the last like 20 episodes because I caught it right before it went to not being free. If you wanted to spend your coins on it, you can. For me, I'm glad I didn't because it just does not hit the same way that everybody else hit. It is the most different though, so I have to give it that. It is a reborn story, kind of like a villainess story in a way. You've got some romance, but it's very dark. But the female lead is like so frustrating. So with my thoughts in order, let's talk about Locked Up by My Mad Dog. I'm going to try not to make it too long, but this will contain spoilers, so let's get into it. So right off the bat, we have our main female character, Elizabeth. She is plopped right into this new life after being hit by a truck. And it's like we're seeing her on the first day of her life in Elizabeth's body, right? So obviously she's like in a noble home. She's living lavishly. She's like, oh, I'm just going to live my life. And if I'm in a romance, I'm in a romance. It's cool. But some things start to happen and she realizes, oh, this isn't quite what I was thinking. Okay. This isn't the sweet, simple, daughter of nobility I thought it was going to be. She's going about her day and at nighttime, a man shows up. Damn near naked, ready to rub her down with some lavender oil. And she's like, oh, no, thank you. No, not for me. People are confused. What's going on? He's just as confused. He's like, what do you mean? I came here half naked, ready to oil you up, girl. Then she finds out, oh, the nobles aren't that great. There's something called dog fighting, not actual dogs. We're talking people, okay? We're talking people fighting each other or fighting a fucking giant-ass tiger. And guess who created that? Elizabeth. Okay, reborn Elizabeth is like, oh, well, she's not as nice as I thought. She's very pretty, but she's got an evil center. Then she finds out, oh, Elizabeth is engaged to be married to the Crown Prince Aaron. So, I'm thinking, interesting. Okay, we've got a what I would assume is your typical romance, little fucking mama romance of like, okay, she's the lead. Karsus is the guy who shows up and wants to sleep with her that night. He is her personal knight. I can't quite tell in the beginning where this is even going, but it's like, okay. And maybe what I should start off with is actually reading you the synopsis because that would be better. So let's do that first so that I don't fuck this up completely. Okay. After dying and reborn as Elizabeth, a character from a dark fantasy novel, the new Elizabeth begins to navigate her new life. Set to be married to the Emperor's crown prince, the new Elizabeth can't believe her luck. But just as she's getting ready for the new life on Easy Street, the dark secrets of the previous Elizabeth begin to come to light. Learning that Elizabeth keeps a slave known as her dog, Elizabeth feels she should set him free. But little does she know that pulling on this thread will unravel far more than she would ever imagine. Off that synopsis, sounds amazing. As we go through it though, Reborn Elizabeth sucks. I hate to say this because it's not even like she's navigating off of a novel that she's read before. She realizes she's just reborn into something like that, like darker than she imagined. And what I do think is really cool about this story is that the real Elizabeth is so much more layered than what you would think. And in a way, she's not even the protagonist of this story once you get to the very end. So I thought that was really, really cool. So I will give it that. But my rating was like, out of 10, I'd probably rate it like a 2.5, maybe a 3 if we're rounding up. Out of 10, probably a 3. But yeah, there's so many characters that play a part in the political crazy shit, okay? That is really interesting, but it is hard to follow at times. And like I said, Reborn Katherine, she sucks. She has no fucking idea what's going on. She never asks people anything. Okay. So it's Elizabeth as our main female character. Karsus is her dog, her personal knight, and Aaron is the crown prince. We get pretty far into the story before we find out that people have powers. What? That felt like it was just as if someone had flour in their hand and blew it in my face. I'm disoriented. I'm confused. But noble families have been given God-given power, right? Elizabeth is supposed to have the power of nullification, so she can nullify people's powers. Aaron is supposed to, because he's the crown prince, he's supposed to have the power to heal people. So his father, the king, can heal anyone of any illness. There's a little bit more to it than that, but we find that out later. But his power hasn't manifested, and neither has Elizabeth's. Okay, learning about the dog fights. So Reborn Elizabeth finds out that she is the ringleader, the mastermind of the dog fights of the noble families who don't really fuck with the king and the crown prince, which is strange. It almost seems like they feel separate from them, even though, aren't you, who am I don't know the lore of all these, the tensions between, because aren't all on the same level? I don't know. So she's the mastermind. Apparently there is a man who runs a orphanage called the Poorhouse, and what Reborn Elizabeth finds out is that the kids who are orphaned, some are separated from the rest, who never seem to get adopted, by the way. These ones are turned into dogs, bought by these noble families and groomed and raised to be slaves and to be fighting and killing and being used any kind of way. So of course Reborn Elizabeth is like, well, I don't fucking like that, which I can appreciate. She doesn't want to be involved in that, but she has no fucking memory of like the life that she just kind of took in a way. So she's like, I don't know what to do here, but she's involved in the mix. Well, Aaron, the crown prince, doesn't like it. He is growing on her more, even though she's like, oh shit, Reborn Elizabeth was fucking on Karsus. Karsus has a very like strong obsession with Elizabeth. This becomes a problem many times, except she never just sits there and asks him stuff. And that was the main issue that I had. And then other people in the comments of Webtoon, definitely read the comments on Webtoon. They're not as good as, but you can only do so much with the Webtoon ones. So she doesn't ever ask questions of the people who know her. Like sometimes she's like, my memory must have gotten foggy. Could you explain that? Okay, not bad. But then some things it's like, bitch, confide in somebody, because like typically like someone confides in like one person. She doesn't do that till like super duper late in the fucking story. And it's like, well, damn, get with the program. Okay, then enters a guy named Isaac, and we find out he's got so much more going on later on in the story. It's crazy. But anyway, Elizabeth, or Ellie, as she's affectionately called by Aaron, the crown prince, like she's really torn between, okay, I know that the former Elizabeth had this thing going on with Karsus. She wants to set Karsus free because, hey, he shouldn't have to deal with this. She wants to be there for Aaron because his vision of the future is actually pretty peaceful. I think it's very sincere, but he's not willing to. His father is very like brutal and violent, a lot more than I think Aaron was really knew. But like when he finds that his father does stuff, he's kind of like, well, I don't like it, but I guess it must be done, because he is like blessed by God. So he's not like great, right? Girl, then we find out, and this is when I thought, ooh, okay, bitch, this is real. Then we find out she's not Elizabeth, okay? We get a fucking twist on it. So Elizabeth had been wearing these earrings this whole time that she never took off. Eventually, she takes one of the earrings off and her whole appearance changes. Oh my God, guess what? Elizabeth is actually not Elizabeth, the daughter of the Cretan family who has the ability to, nullify people's powers. She is the daughter of a family that was slaughtered by the king years ago, okay? And I think you pronounce their last name Euphrates, but her name is Bologna, Bologna. We're just gonna say Bologna. We're just gonna say that. Okay. I may have skipped something. Hold on. Okay. So she finds out, oh shit, this is what's really going on. there's an even bigger story going on here than just what we were privy to. Okay. So let me move forward. All right. So Bologna, the real Bologna has been dormant within Elizabeth, the reborn Elizabeth who took over this body. So reborn Elizabeth has no idea that Bologna is like actually orchestrating like a huge coup, which was awesome. Okay, I thought, let's get rid of reborn Elizabeth now, or she needs to come over to the Bologna side, because clearly, like, if I'm going to choose a side, I'm probably going to stick with Bologna and Karsus, but you know, boom. We also find out Karsus is really the heir to this kingdom. He's the one who has the healing ability. Okay, and I thought, okay, well, this is what I thought originally, before we found out that it was Bologna. Okay, so Karsus is probably going to be the one who is really the bad guy. Aaron is the good guy. Elizabeth is gonna use her nullification powers to stop Karsus. No, she is Bologna, and Bologna is from the family that has the obedience power. And this was the whole reason why the king killed her family. She was the only survivor. She ran away. She found the Cretan family who didn't have their daughter. They take her in, and she assumes the identity of Elizabeth. Okay, you think, all right, she used her obedience power on those parents. No, it doesn't work because they nullified it. The mom knew the whole time, didn't care, and was like, I felt like the king, I didn't have any proof, but I think the king stole my daughter and put her in the tower and was using her as a something, which is weird because like, wouldn't he have been confused by if he stole the daughter and then the daughter shows up? I don't know. A lot of plot holes, I think. Okay, so she has the obedience thing. Karsus has the healing thing. Aaron has nothing. And then we get into Isaac, the guy who seems to be helping Karsus, and that's crazy. That was a crazy twist. All right. Okay. So what's happening? All right. What we find out later is that Aaron really isn't that great. Okay. The whole plan, this was the whole plan. Get back on track. So the whole plan was for Bologna to assume this identity, get inside of the family, right? And then she was going to have the dogs turn on all the nobility. That happened. But of course, Elizabeth doesn't know what's happening, really. She hasn't understood that she's Bologna yet. So the coup was really Bologna's thing, but Karsus will be the one going to town. He is technically the rightful heir. So now it's very confusing for people. Where do we stand? Do we stand with Karsus or do we stand with Aaron? Aaron, technically crown prince, he is the king's son, but he doesn't have the power. So that was the goal all along. Then we find out Bologna, anytime she uses the obedience power, it kills her. That's why she has Karsus, because he can heal her. I really liked that. I thought that was an interesting little, all right, I see why you're together. Still not understood. So we get a little bit of the title in that, okay, when she's Elizabeth, she still is in Elizabeth mind. We don't know her real name from before she was reborn, but she's like locked up by Karsus for like a bit. Then she's rescued by Aaron. Aaron finds out that she's really Bologna. He really can't get past, like, he wants to forgive her and act, oh, it's fine, but he can't. Girl, he almost kills her. What? And Reborn Elizabeth is really trying. She really does not want there to be a war. She doesn't want any more people to be killed. So Reborn Elizabeth is not a bad person. I mean, what can she really do? All of this stuff has already been like, you know, doled out before she even fucking got here. And now she's just along for the ride. And sometimes Bologna's personality is coming back. So it's like she'll black out and then Bologna's there and it's like, oh shit, all right, well, that's interesting. Okay, so in the end, what ends up happening is Aaron wants to use, we're gonna just call her Elizabeth. He wants to just use Elizabeth to kill Karsus, because he can see that people are not going to be loyal to him as long as Karsus still remains. And Isaac is whispering in the ear of Aaron, right? So he's like, all right, you know what? Use your obedience skill. Go and do this. He ends up dying. Karsus ends up dying. They find a way to kill him. But then Elizabeth finds out, oh, you were going to kill me too. So that's when Bologna comes out of her and has a reign of terror. So she has found a way to amplify her power. So now her level of obedience, it goes crazy. All right. She doesn't have to just look you in the eye. She can just fucking speak. So now the bloodshed is going crazy. Elizabeth, we don't know. She's in the back part of the brain now. Bologna has taken over. But guess what? She also ends up using that to revive Karsus. So now Karsus is alive. And you're like, oh shit. But girl, we're at like episode 68 when all this shit happened. We've got 2 more episodes left. How the fuck you were... We get a fucking... It almost seemed like a flashback. I said, now what the fuck? Everybody in the comments is confused. This is what happens in the end. Girl. Okay. Let me write down things. Or read what I wrote down. Ellie... which makes Bologna no longer dormant and too much strains. Okay, so the last 2 episodes, Ellie no longer looks like Elizabeth. So Elizabeth has flowing blonde hair, golden eyes, but Bologna is like a brunette with green eyes, whatever the fuck. Complete opposite person. And she's like, oh, I've been reborn into this like simple country bumpkin life. And we're like, what the fuck? What do you mean? We already saw this, but like, you were Elizabeth. So it almost seems like the story restarted and I was about to be pissed off, but no. What ended up happening was Bologna, she took hold of Elizabeth, right? When she found out that there was a plot to kill her, she said, oh, hell no, I'm not letting that stand. So she wipes out almost every single person that Aaron had, okay, his little special military. She revives Karsus. They have a bit of a bloody reign, which means that war has now started, right? So Aaron has to get in all of these other people, far out there barbarians, and now it's just clash, clash, clash. Karsus disappears. Bologna disappears. Where do they go? All of that was too much to sustain Bologna, so now she's fully dormant, I think. And see, I'll get to it and you'll see why I'm confused about that. She's fully dormant. Aaron is the king for now, but he's about to, he basically shows up to Isaac, who's in the castle, and it's like, what am I gonna do? Like, I can't do anything. I'm totally fucked. Like, they're wanting me to step down. They were wanting me to abdicate the throne. And he's like, I've heard a rumor, Isaac, that you're from a family that had a power, and that you're from a family whose power was regression, and that you can basically turn back time. And Isaac says, no, you're wrong. I don't have that. You should just step down and we should let things play out the way they are, or else there will be more bloodshed. Bitch, we find out that Isaac, he has been doing this over and over and over and over again. So in my opinion, he's really the main character, because every timeline, like this timeline has happened so many times, he keeps trying to change it. So he was locked up in that tower with the real Elizabeth. He always tries to save her, but something bad always happens. So there's always something going on with Karsus. There's always something going on with Bologna. He has to hitch his wagon to them, but he is always trying to find a way to stop all of the chaos, but it never works. And this final time, the wrench was thrown in it, because whatever he did made her get reborn, or reborn Elizabeth go into Bologna's body. So it threw the plan off. And he's like, oh, maybe this will work to my advantage, and I can get rid of Karsus, control Aaron. But he doesn't get that, like, no, Bologna is not here, but there's somebody else who's fucking up your story. So this is why, because at the end, when he says, no, I'm not, he says to himself, like, this is it. This was the last time I was going to regress, and I'm not doing this again. I don't deserve to do this again. I don't deserve to whatever. We don't even know if real Elizabeth is dead, like, or if she's alive, because that woman really did exist. The Elizabeth we saw was just like a charm basically put on her. So she's not even the real fucking person. Okay, good. So then I was like, okay, if she's regressed so much, was the strain of using her power the way that she did? Yeah, that must be it now that I'm talking it through. So that final act that Bellona does, it's too much for her. Karsus is like, it's fine. I'm going to take her. We're going to be married. I'm going to have the life that I want. And she'll be safe. And yeah. So in a way, the title comes right back around again. She is locked up by the mad dog. Kind of, right? Because she has no recollection of Bellona. She has no recollection of Elizabeth. She is just someone who is married to Karsus and vaguely understanding what's going on in the capital because they live out in the woods. In the end, I think that was such a weird fucking story. And by weird, I don't mean bad. I just mean, wow. Like it felt like whiplash. Like, what's going on? This female main character, no, she kind of sucked. I wasn't ever really rooting for her. I wanted to root for Bellona because I feel like Bellona is the one, like, it's hard because she did enslave people. And even when she gets herself back a little bit and she's talking to Karsus, I guess before she loses it all and she just becomes reborn Elizabeth again, like, she's like, you're my dog. How could you die with... So I can't tell, like, oh, and this is the other thing. Her fucking power, it didn't work on the parents. I think I might have said that. It didn't work on Elizabeth's parents because they nullified it. So the mom knew that this wasn't her daughter. She's the one who seemingly made the earrings, we assume in the comments. But so you had those people who just absolutely loved her for the person that she was pretending to be. They kind of knew her plan. I thought it was weird that at one point when Elizabeth sees her mom again after everything has happened, she's the only person that survived out of the family besides Elizabeth. She's like, you know, you should give up your plot for revenge and you should just work with Aaron. But it's like, why would you work with Aaron when his family is the one that possibly killed your daughter? I didn't really get that. But then we find out because Elizabeth is thinking, I want to set Karsus free because clearly the obedience doesn't work on him because he can always heal himself. So he died kind of by killing himself because he took it, like, it was all a trap, like a negotiation thing. Poison is supposed to work, not allow him to heal himself. So I think that was really what pushed Elizabeth out the first time and like made Bellona go like, oh hell fucking no. And I'm getting betrayed by Aaron. Fuck no, not my little sex dude dying. And then this fucking dude betraying me. Fuck you. I'm killing everybody. When you realize like, oh, he actually loved her. Now, I still think there's some grooming involved there. So it's hard because there's clearly a line that's getting crossed. But I don't know. But that was locked up by a mad dog. So... toss that a little bit too far, too hard. So interesting. So of all the things I've read within the last 2 months, because I realized some of the stuff I've been talking about, I forgot about the month of April. It's not all been the month of May. Within these last 2 months, that's my least favorite of all of the ones I've read. But it was the most different because of the way that ended, because of all the moving pieces. There is no... oh, hey, I get my special life, you know what I mean? Getting reborn, getting my revenge. Like, it's not like that, but it is interesting. So I will have stopped the point where I'm talking about spoilers now. So hello, we're back. I'm going to put some stuff in there as a reminder. Connie, remember to do that. What I will say is that I think that this is an interesting read. It technically is a reborn story, but anything that you think you know about a reborn story, this one is so different. A lot more political intrigue. There is romance, but I wouldn't even say that that's like, it's a big deal, but when you really find out all of the stuff that you eventually find out, you realize that's such a small part of everything that's going on, especially when you learn more about the main female character and what the person whose body she inhabited, the motivations really were. So yeah, I would say give it a try if you're interested in reading something that's more on the darker side. Okay, I think all of these are dark because someone tried to kill a woman, you know what I'm saying? And then she had to get her revenge. But this one, darker than that, we're talking about slavery, we're talking about grooming, we're, you know, empires, oppressing people. You know, when we talk about the lesser of two evils, that still means that someone evil will be involved. So which evil do you choose? You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. It's really crazy. But yes, that's what I've read for the last few days. Now, tomorrow, I kind of have a busy day, but I do want to read. We're going to talk. We're going to talk a little bit tonight too. I'm going to read some more. But yeah, I just wanted to do a quick little intro. I know there was 30 minutes of talking. I'm sorry, but we're going to really get into reading. I don't know if I'm going to take you guys anywhere with me. We're getting into like the actual busy part of my job now. Okay, I know that I'm going to have 45 people to manage coming up soon. I'm very, very nervous. But the last 3 weeks of training have been really great. So I'm going to believe in myself. Yes, I will. I'm going to believe in myself and everything's going to be okay. But at the end of the day, if I don't like it, I am not above saying, I don't like this. Thank you very much. I will go and maybe go back to sales. I think that sales, I like sales. I don't mind a sale. I don't mind talking to people. Managing people, I've never done that before. So this is going to be this is going to be something I've never done before. And I'm excited, but I'm also nervous. So wish me luck, y'all. I won't be able to like do as much filming, but I will never let that stop me from reading. So maybe I will film myself and talk about little things in between meetings. We'll see, but that doesn't even matter because it's not here yet. I'll talk to you guys a little bit later tonight. Yeah, let's get into it later. Welcome back. Okay, we had a delicious seafood boil. As you guys saw, we couldn't film too much because, you know, it became a mess in there. Had a little drink, so I'm still feeling that little drink. It was very, very good. But we finished eating Rivalry. Okay, very good. I know I said, well, I don't know if I want to watch the show now. I do think that I'm going to watch the show, and I want Devin to watch it with me because I think it would be fun. So I'll be watching that at some point. Right now, we're following, even though it had like a week break, which is sad, we're following from, we started, I get it wrong every time, Witcher's Bay. I'll put the picture up. But you know what, now let's get Heated Rivalry in the mix and really switch things up because this ended up being very good. Now, I don't know if I like Game Changer over Heated Rivalry. They're so different. Like, yes, they both have like a secret relationship going on, but it's the way that Heated Rivalry spans years. Okay, we're talking about a situationship that's like 7 years long, okay? Which is crazy, but I really, really liked that. I also liked, I don't know, I haven't watched the show yet, but I see the actors, like, I see them. I see Connor Story. I don't remember the other dude's real name. Oh shit, what is his name? The dude who plays Shane. I'm sorry, sir. I do like you though. So, yeah, I can see them all in my head. And I like that. So, okay. Very, very good. I think I still, if I had to, I like them both, but if I had to choose who I like the most, I think I still like Ilya more. My favorite part about this story is how, like, the running joke of Ilya calling Shane boring. Every time he jokes about him being boring, it's just like, it clearly is true. Like, you're not wrong about the fact that Shane is pretty boring. But I really like that. I like that they are so, there's this thing that they have in common that they're so passionate about, hockey. They're both hockey players. It's a really important sport to them. I mean, especially for Shane, you know, there's a different level of like, this means so much to me because he plays for Montreal. But these things that they have in common, it's like the stuff that makes them different is what kind of brings them together. You know, Ilya is very out there. He's extroverted. He may be an asshole, but he can talk to anybody. Shane, he's a little bit more like type A, quiet, introverted. You know, he doesn't like to be at the club, but like if he had to be at the club, he wants to be the one, and I can relate. Like you're in the corner, you're talking to someone, and like that is the fun. It's like just talking, observing. I like that I can relate. I'm not a very extroverted person, but I like the idea of being extroverted. So congrats to everybody who is. Y'all are really cool. And everyone who's also introverted, y'all are also very cool. But yeah, I think I don't know what it is, but I think I really like Ilya the most. I really do like Shane though. Oh my God. Okay. So spoilers from here on out, but I'm going to try to make this quick. I know I say that every time, but I'm really looking at the time this time. And I can't let the alcohol make me rant. We can't let that happen. So the way that they get exposed and then they have to come out was crazy. Like I was feeling like the longer I read it, I was like, what the fuck is this? How is this going to end? Because I know, or at least I think I know, there's another book from their POV. So I'm like, oh, well, people said they were waiting for season 2. Is this like a cliffhanger? But I thought we had like several books in between now where we're following other players. I don't know what's going on. The way that, okay, what I was trying to say was like, I was reading and I was thinking, okay, they're gonna fuck again. I love it. I'm not complaining, but I was definitely thinking like, okay, they're just gonna fuck in the lake, I guess now. I don't know. The dad. So I had a feeling that this was gonna happen, but I was so wrong about everything in Game Changers that I kind of refused to have a theory when it came to this. So because they were vacationing at his cottage, but his parents didn't live that far away, I had a feeling that the parents were going to pop up on them. I just didn't think they were going to actually get caught like that. So Ilya and Shane, they're in the lake, you know, roughhousing, doing some stuff, and they're being inappropriate kissing. They look over. Who's in the fucking window? The dad, looking right the fuck at them. I would die. So Shane's like, oh shit, okay, let's get this over with. This is how I wanted it to go, but this is where we are now, so let's get into it. So they go over to the house, and I loved the interaction because it was just like, you already knew that Shane's parents loved him, like, unconditionally. Even if there's some light, you know, jabbing, but like kind of serious, like, but we hate that guy, you know, he's on a rival team, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know that they loved him, and like, I was going to be disappointed if they weren't supportive of him, but like, I didn't really think that they wouldn't be. And, you know, Shane and his parents already thinking about the plan, his parents being like, let's solve the problem, especially his mom. And basically Shane's idea is, okay, we need to soft launch us being friends, and we need to find a way to move past the rivalry that the you know, the sports people, the community, whatever, has put upon us, because that has been like one of the biggest, you know, stumbling blocks as the story has gone on. Because it's like, okay, if they were just like guys on 2 different teams, you know what, you know, maybe not the best scenario, still might want to keep it a secret, but it's the fact that they've been rivals this whole time. They're supposed to hate each other, so why would they end up together? Why would they be in a relationship? So Shane is like, you know what, after Ilya, you know, has really been vulnerable with him and told him about his life and told him about his mom, Shane is like, let's do a foundation together. It'll soft launch our friendship, and it'll be the Arena Foundation, named after Ilya's mom, who died when he was like 12 years old. And it'll be like a camp, you know, around Canada for kids to play hockey, but the proceeds will go to a mental health and suicide prevention foundation. And it's like, the thing I like so much about this couple is the way that it means so much when they realize, like, oh, I'm being seen right now. Ilya, with everything that happened when he was younger and as he got older, the way that his family took advantage of him and was just like expecting money, 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 but never showing him any love. The only person that he ever loved and had this real strong connection with was his mother, and she died when he was so young. You know, being in the presence of Shane, who made him feel so loved and comfortable and safe, being around, but then also like eventually being a part of Shane's family, seeing what it means to have parents that love their child, but also were extending love to him. It's like, when Shane is like, tell me what you're thinking, and it doesn't matter if I can't speak Russian, like say it in Russian if it's easier. Like, all of these ways that Shane helped Ilya feel safe and seen was very, very beautiful to read. Shane finally, I think he will always be like very type A and neurotic a bit, but like he allowed himself to, you know, create a relationship with someone that he really, really cared about. You know what I mean? I like them both so much. Like, I just think they're great for each other. I liked the fact that there's this rivalry that's not really a rivalry, but it is kind of a rivalry going on. They don't throw the game for their lover. Like, no, I'm going to beat you fair and square, and I'm going to talk trash to the whole, like, that's such a cute thing that they have going. I just loved it. I think Heated Rivalry is really fun. I don't know I don't know what's going to happen with season 2. I don't know if it continues to follow them. I don't know if it ends when, you know, they're obviously at the cottage in the damn show. So is season 2 going to be a new couple? It would be really interesting. I also liked, oh my God, the thing I like so much about this is, like, you know, reading Game Changers, which I'm so glad I read first, to like these little things that because you're seeing the timeline like sync up, you know what I mean? Where the stuff that we read that was going on with Scott and Kip and Frank Zulo and the All-Star game, like, and then the Stanley Cup, and like them hating Scott. Like, that was so funny. There were just so many little funny things in here, but all in all, I would probably say Heated Rivalry, you get a 4 out of 5. Maybe a 4.75. Maybe a 5. I don't know. You know, I if you make me laugh, if you make me happy, you'll probably get a 5-star from me. But she was good. She was good. I like her. And I am going to watch the show. I will be. And I'm going to watch that damn screen recording I did where it's a little like fan edit on TikTok. I'm excited. So I did want to end this first part with talking about what I spent my coins on Lezen. Oh yeah. Cause you know I got that big money. As in, yeah, I got a really good VIP. And see, I think I had mentioned this, like I was considering doing a different one, but when I thought about it, was like, no, this actually it might make more sense this way. But we'll see. We'll see. I might change my mind. The one I have gives me 5,200 or something bonus coins. Bonus coins you have to spend or they expire. I think one was like, one that came up that actually sounded pretty good, but it was more expensive. That was the thing. It was more expensive than what I'm paying. I'm paying less than $50 for this. That one I think was almost $60 to get like 3,000 coins and 3,000 bonus coins. And of course, those coins would add up. I might be looking into that. But it's still like, I don't know. What are you guys doing? Is anybody on Lezen? Tell me what your thing is. Because I'm just curious. All right, let's see. So I bought everything for Love Tractor. I was like missing a few of the earlier episodes that I read, but it's fine. I'm up to date on the Dokebi's Solchi Bride. Oh, you know what I should buy? I should get into the Heart of the Lotus because I stopped buying a lot of that stuff. Okay, I got Sora and Hana. That's completed. I specifically got that one for the readathon that Bazaar is doing. I'm going to put the information up and we'll do like a special video for that. So I'm excited. I got all of Flashlight. I got Unlikely Encounters. Let me see, what else did I get? And girl, like, I bought so many things last time, I forgot. I went back looking, I was like, I bought that? Okay. I've just not been on Lezen like that. I'm actually pretty disappointed about it. It's okay, it's not that big of a deal, but still. It's like, fuck, dude, I used to be on this all the time. Not so much recently. Dude, I know I bought more shit. Did I? I have no idea. I think I bought some completed things and then I went and like upped some of the things that I like hadn't bought in a while. So like Crown of Thorns, I haven't really kept up with it since the new season came in. I think I did like the first 2 episodes, but I'm kind of behind. You Are So Lovely. I think I might start that over from the beginning. I need to finish and continue on with Even in Your Death. That's not complete, but I'm now episodes behind. Oh my God, we've got freaking Melting Point comes out in June, so that's exciting. But yeah, I've got a bunch of stuff on here that's completed that I really, really want to read and finish. I just feel like Webtoons really got me. It's got its claws in me, and it's not letting go. And I'm finding more titles that are free, and I am devoting a lot of my time to that. So in June, we're reading a lot more Webtoon, I'm just saying. I can't help it. But I have to get in on this shit. Yeah, Lights, Camera, Action. I don't know why the fuck I bought this thing. Lord of mercy. Girl, it is what it is. But I'm excited to get into, see, swapping. Forgot about swapping. Pissed off at myself. And an Anne's Binding. Fucking the Ron Pod project. I totally forgot about that. I have a bunch of shit on here that I spent money on. Blossoms in the White Night. Haven't even read the shit. Sick of myself. I will say this though, I may be, depending on what happens at the end of June, every time I come back to wanting to just use all my coins to buy full volume, I know I've read it before, but I like that story so fucking much. Oh, that's what I bought. That's what it was. I think I unlocked every single thing for, guess what it was, wasn't it? Hold on. Was it Swallow You Whole? That's what it was. So I'm caught up on, I'm not caught up on reading it, but I've caught up on buying it. So yeah, dude, I just love, Swallow You Whole is so different than full volume that it's like, I just want to go back to her. She was so freaking ridiculously good. I can't help myself. Anyway, that's going to be it for tonight because I am very sleepy. I have to stay up till 11 though, because I keep waking up at 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. Like today I was fucking dead tired by like 10 in the morning. Didn't even have a Red Bull, but I had lots of coffee. So yeah, tomorrow, you'll see me throughout the day. I'm going to read a little bit. I don't have much to do, but I have things to do for work. So there is that. We do have something to go to after Devin gets off of work. I won't be filming that. It's for someone at his job, and then we got invited for the birthday, which is very nice. So I was told that there would be hors d'oeuvres and drinks. So I will be hors d'oeuvres. Yes, please. Thank you. A drink. Why not? Maybe a nice little party game. Why not? Let's get into her. Let's do it. I would love to socialize. I don't do that often with people I don't know. So exciting. I was also told that someone, their girlfriend may be there and she likes BL. So we're going to really see if I make a new friend. Now, you know, I don't know if we're talking heated rivalry only, or if we're also talking about what I am talking about on Lezen. Either way, let's be friends. Yes. If you read, let's just be friends in general. So I'm excited. Wish me luck. Obviously, you'll see this after the fact, but you know, I think you get it. So yeah, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. We'll have some fun. We'll read some more. And I will also get some sleep. So yeah, I'll see you guys later. Bye. Good morning, everyone. Okay, hello. I still have my eyebrows on from last night. And yes, I have been crying because I just finished the book for the book club with my mom, my sister, my cousin. May is my month, and I chose Kill Yours, Kill Mine by Katherine Kovacic. I think that's how you pronounce her last name. This was really, really good. And I've been crying for probably 30 minutes, not just about the book, but just like thinking and overthinking stuff in my head. Like this was really, really good. And I picked this because it was very similar, not exactly, but very similar to Peter Miles Has to Die. I read that last year, and I mean, I did a review on the vlog when we were in Alexandria, and I just couldn't fucking stop crying. So this ended up being so good. So let me read the synopsis for you guys. Okay. Men get away with murder all the time. Now it's our turn. Mia's grief counseling practice, the Pleiades, is named for the 7 sisters from Greek mythology who were the companions of the goddess of the hunt and who, in some stories, die of grief or are killed to be saved from attackers. Mia has been gathering broken women together for a radical form of group therapy. Amy, Gabriella, Katie, Brooke, Olivia, 5 women crippled with grief by the murders of their sisters and seething with rage that the partners who killed them all walk free. She just needs one more. When Mia meets Naomi, she knows she has found the perfect candidate, but Naomi is resistant. She only needs to meet the others before she realizes that they too are consumed with desire for hands-on revenge. Under Mia's guidance, the women devise a plan to kill them, to heal themselves. They'll take back their lives from the men who took their sisters. The premise is satisfyingly simple. I'll kill yours and you kill mine. Sorry. I would definitely say I would rate this 5 stars. Obviously, I'm emotional. I think of my sister. I think of other women in my life, women I don't know who've experienced domestic violence, and it just really hurts. In this book, it really wasn't until the end that I started to get really emotional, because it was getting closer and closer to someone possibly finding them out, and then just memories of friends I've had who have shared with me things like that. So I'm gonna try not to be super crazy emotional for y'all, but obviously I'm crying, I can't help it. So before spoilers, I'll say I rate it 5 stars. I would definitely say if you have the ability, listen to the audiobook. I thought the narrator was really, really, really good. I thought she did great voices for all the different women. Now, granted, it was hard for me to remember everybody's name, every woman to her sister, and then because they're killing somebody else who's not affiliated with their sister but a different sister, it was hard to remember where everybody was. And then some women were involved in multiple killings, so it was like, oh, okay, doesn't matter. Maybe it would have been easier to follow if I was reading it physically, but it was still very, very good. So now for spoilers, and I'll try to keep it short. I know I say that every time and then I make it long. I'm gonna try really hard. So 1, death to all those men. Fuck you, and I'm glad to see it, okay, because all of them were pieces of shit. Was not here to see these men go. But yeah, the first group meetup, these women are being counseled by Mia. Mia, explains what the deal is, and they need this last person. All of them have a story to share about their sisters who experienced domestic violence, and none of them made it out alive, unfortunately. But it's all, varying things. So a man who made one of the sisters' deaths look like an accident. One who did go to jail, but not for very long. A man who was a celebrity, so he got away with it. And, because of public opinion, he was able to come back. Who else? Others were just extremely violent. It was just very, yeah. But you might think, oh, what's the connection with Mia? As we slowly find out that Mia also is in the same boat, that she had a sister that experienced domestic violence. hers is the most different because her sister's still alive. She desperately tried to help her sister, and she does. She ends up getting her out of that house. They get an order of protection, and she hides her sister, and she feels like, I did it, like she's gonna get away. And he finds her, and he finds her at Mia's house. He's breaking in. She's on the phone with her sister. She leaves work. She's like, I'm gonna be there in 5 minutes. And like, us as the audience, we think she's about to find her sister dead, but she's not dead. She stabs him. But Mia also stabs him because she doesn't know if her sister's dead. So she's like seeing him, like having been stabbed, and he's on the brink of death, but he's not dead yet. And she stabs him again. So now something that could have been considered like self-defense is, well, why was he stabbed twice? Her sister protects Mia, and she does go to jail, but she doesn't go to jail for long. But that type of thing like really lights an even bigger fire in Mia, because she's like, my sister was in danger. And you know, nobody knows about what Mia did, but it's like, why does it matter if he was stabbed twice? Like, they had to order protection against him. They had documented evidence about his abuse. He was harassing her and her family. Like, why does it matter? And then making the bigger picture of like all these other women who came in like defense of Mia's sister. And it's just like a lot. So this is how all these women can be connected. But then there's a police officer, and she's a woman, and she actually worked on some of the cases that these sisters had passed away on. These sisters had died from. And she starts making connections. And the thing I think I loved the most about the book is, let me get my coffee, is the ending, because it's like, I think it's 52 chapters. When you get to like chapter 50 or 51, the cop has figured it out. She's figured out everything. She figures out how all these women are connected. She's like, this is seeming like a Hitchcock or something. Like, I can't remember is it a Hitchcock? It's like similar to like a, you know, Hitchcock, Agatha Christie mystery or something like that. I just can't remember what the name is. And she just worked a case where the husband assaulted the wife. She's not dead, but this police officer deals in homicide. So like her inner thoughts are like, I looked at it, but like, I'm not gonna get called in until the wife is dead. You know what I mean? And just like the sobering reality that a lot of, you know, victims of stalking and domestic violence and harassment, like, you know, they're told, well, we can't do anything until he does something. And it's like, but he is doing something, and I shouldn't have to die for me to be taken seriously. And it's like a very sobering reality for the cop. You know, she knows this. So she's leaving the scene of this crime. She hasn't exactly put all the pieces together yet, but she's been staking out Mia's practice. And it's like, this is like taking place of a year. You know, these women were very methodical. They were successful in killing all of these abusers. And the one fucking night Mia calls them all together, that's the night that the cop is kind of driving past, and she sees, wait, she finds out like, oh, well, the suspect hasn't been apprehended. The woman's in, I don't know if she was in critical condition, but like, that's it. The cop, she approaches the door, she sees Mia, and you don't know what's gonna happen, but then it's very clear that the cop is like, I know what y'all are doing. Let me in. In a, I need to get in on this, not I'm gonna take you all in. So that was an amazing ending. I'm so glad it ended that way, and not with all of these women like getting sent to jail, or Mia getting sent to jail. That's what I thought was gonna happen, is that much like in Peter Miles Has to Die, the cop takes the fall so she can protect these women because she feels so guilty about not having like saved their friend. And it was just, that ending was so hard. The fact that in this ending, the cop isn't going to take them in. She's not going to, you know, Mia's not going to take, you know, the fall. She's the mastermind. So it's like, technically, she didn't physically kill anybody, which no. Or like the cop does it, like, no, these women are going to get away with it and they're going to be able to maybe help other women of domestic violence. And I like that. I do. For a vigilante, I don't like a domestic abuser, so yeah, I don't really care. Just being honest. But yes, spoiler over. It was just such a good book. I liked it. So get into that book, especially if you've never read that author. I can't remember, shoot. The reason why I chose it is because I was wanting to read a mystery thriller that I hadn't read before. Is it Gabby? I think it's Gabby Reads. I'll put their picture up. They mostly read mystery thrillers. So I was like, yeah, I think I could get a recommendation from them for sure. And I think she said that she didn't like some of the other ones by that author, but like this one was good or something like that. So I'm glad I went with it because I liked the premise, but I just think that the book was so freaking good. So if you want, you know, a vigilante justice, you know, women fighting back type of story that's also a thriller, not much of a mystery because we as the audience know what's going on. It's really a mystery for the police officer. I think you'll like it. I really, really, really do. So get into that for sure. And if you want something else, like I would definitely suggest Peter Miles Has to Die. I mean, that was such a good book. I don't think I'd ever read anything like that before. And it just was so good. It was so good. If that got made into a movie, oh God, don't even get me started. If this got made into a movie, hell yeah, that'd be great. I also finished Trick Mirror. See, I did it. And yeah, that's life. I haven't really read anything else. Like I was like so committed to finishing Heated Rivalry, which I think we talked about. A 5 out of 5. I'm sorry. I really enjoyed it. I did start the show last night before we went to that party. It was rich white people, y'all. I was very nervous. We didn't stay that long, but I definitely felt like, what the fuck am I doing here with my Jake Young shirt on? Because yes, I slept in it. There was like 5 young people there. And I'm like, well, Devin and I are in the middle in terms of ages. You know, we're 30. Overhearing the conversations that were going on, I was like, I'm probably not going to be able to sit and talk to some of y'all because I'm clearly much further to the left than some of y'all. Not the host of the party, but like the guests. The young people might just have been a little bit too young for me. No offense to young people. I do like them, but yeah, because one of them is a coworker of Devin's and they get along really well. They have a lot of the same interests, but it's also the host. So he worked with the host and the host's kid. So like, that's pretty cool. I don't feel like you get that very often, but like they were really nice. So nice. House beautiful. Definitely. I love our house. Don't get me wrong. I really do. But I want something a little bigger sometimes, you know, for all these books. All these books and figures and prints. But no, we love you, house. You're amazing. You're our first house that we own. You may be our forever home, so never forget that. You're amazing. You're really good. I like to tell her every now and then. And honestly, just a little something about me. When we leave, when we had dogs, I would always be like, when we get in the car, I'd be like, I love you, Rothgard, one of our Biddy. I love you, house. I say that still. I'm like, love you, house. Bye. Have a good day. I know. Don't take the whimsy out. Don't take the whimsy out of my life. But yeah, the party was fun. But right before we left, I started watching Heated Rivalry. I'm interested in it, but I don't know. I don't feel like I really want to watch it now. Is that weird? I don't know. I think I'm still gonna give the first episode a finish because I'm not all the way done. but I think I can kind of like exist without watching it and be fine because I like the book. But I will say, I think Hudson Wilson and Connor Story, I think they were perfectly casted. I really, really do, because they look like dudes who would be in hockey, you know? And I think that they acted really well. I know I didn't watch the whole first episode, but still very good so far. So yeah, so today it's the 31st. It's the last day of May. I'm gonna start like planning my TBR, because even though June is gonna be extremely busy for me, I'm finally getting a team. I found out I have 45 stores. Some of them are in Puerto Rico. That's crazy to me. Like, I have to manage people in Puerto Rico. That's crazy. What? I'm not totally doubting myself, but I'm getting nervous. I've never managed people remotely. This is crazy. But I'm excited. I really like the team that I'm working with, but I have a really busy month ahead of me. But I think that if I shouldn't alter how I am. So I'm still gonna read, and I'm still gonna make an ambitious TBR, because why the fuck not? Why not? That's just my life. That's just who I am. Doesn't mean I have to read everything. You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna do a TBR. I'm gonna do a TBR for the readathon that Bizarre Individual is putting on. I'll put the information up here. So I'm gonna have 2 different TBR videos. I wanna maybe like kind of still have a vlog, but maybe I'll have a reading vlog that's dedicated solely to that. Maybe I'll do a short, we'll see. But I'm trying really hard not to make this vlog super long. So I start work back on Wednesday. So the next 3 days, so we're gonna talk about reading, okay? And we're gonna read a lot if we can, but I might take a break a little bit today, because today is like our spend time with Devin's family day. So we'll see, we shall see. If anything, I'll try to read more stuff that I got approved for on Netgalley, so I just have my iPad. It's easy. But yeah, we'll talk a little bit later. We're gonna have a really good day, and my book club is in 30 minutes, so let me get my ass ready and in my office so I can have this book club with my family. So I will see you guys in a second. Hello everybody, welcome back. Today is Tuesday, it's June the 2nd. Yay! And I'm really sorry because I didn't really read this weekend. Sunday, hung out with Devin's family. Very, very fun. I think I mostly looked at my cell phone, like on TikTok, unfortunately, or Twitter. Monday, hung out with my parents. We played the game that we're playing, and then Devin and I watched. Okay, so it's called the Outlaws. It's the first movie in like the Roundup series, I think. Don Lee is the main character. I love Don Lee. I don't know if y'all knew this about me, but I have a crush on Don Lee. I love him so much. He's definitely like a second husband, but obviously I have a long list of like second husbands, second partners. They're not necessarily in any particular order, but like when I start seeing something that has like one of my husbands in it, like obviously he shoots to the top. No one tops Debbie though, of course. Good for me, just kidding. Yeah, but Debbie is always my number one. Okay, so never think that you would ever be my Debbie, okay? It's just not gonna happen. I love my second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth husbands, but nobody compares to my first husband and my one and only man. So with that being said, I did a lot of movie watching, which made me happy. A lot of family time, which always makes me happy, but not a lot of reading. But when I came home today, after going to the bookstore and going to Ulta, I did catch up on Jinx. So luckily, even though it said I think like release is June 3rd, it released today for America, I guess. And then something I didn't know was coming back. Yes, ma'am. It's something I was so happy about, but it's so sad when I remember the way it ended on season 1. So we're going to be ending the vlog, like not right this second, but like today. Today is the last day, but I'm going to read as much as I can. A lot of stuff on my iPad. I'm trying to get my TBR ready for the readathon that Bizarre has, and I will put the information up here and then also in the description box below. But June is going to be kind of ambitious. I can't help myself. It's just how it is. But let's talk about these things I've read. And I'll try to keep it as short as possible since one is over, and that would definitely be a spoiler, and one is beginning, and that's a spoiler. So we'll start with Jinx. Okay, so Jinx spoiler, we time skip 2 months, okay, from the last episode. Kim, Dan, and Jake Young are together. That makes me really happy. They seem like they're good. They go and they see his coach, and I might cry, and Kim Dan's grandma. She is still alive, but she dies like shortly after. We get to see them have like a moment together, and she thanks Jake Young, and it was just a really sweet moment, and like getting like the flashback of Kim Dan when he was a kid, but also like when she wasn't like as old as she is now. That was really sweet. And it's like, it's hard because you feel for you feel for all these characters, dude. And obviously I'm always going to feel for Kim Dan, but I also feel for Jake Young. You know, he says like towards the end of the manhwa when they're having their moment, like, you know, I've never really been loved and I haven't really loved, which is sad because I do think that Jake Young has loved. I just don't think he knew that that's what love was. You know what I mean? Obviously, specifically with Kim Dan. And maybe to a certain extent, that's really just mostly respect. Like, I don't know if like him as a character, if he was a real person, if he would say he loved his old coach, but his old coach showed him a form of love that he had not experienced. And even if you don't know, you know, like you still had love for, you know, you experienced love. The stuff with his mom, you know, like being abandoned so often, like I just feel for Jake Young's character. And then of course for Kim Dan, you know, he has never, I mean, everything that he went through, whether it was the stuff with the loan sharks, all the fucking back and forth shit with Jake Young, but also like the doctor, like him being assaulted and then kind of blacklisted and like having to struggle, desperately trying to be there for his grandma as much as he could. And it's just like these two people, despite the age difference, like have really like gone through so much, and for them to be in a good place now, it makes me happy. And they have their rings on, and Jake Young is still fighting. He doesn't have his Jinx anymore, but like clearly he gets a hug before and after a match. And I just think that that's beautiful. I really do hope that we get side stories because I want to see more from them, but I want to see Potato and what's his face. I feel bad that I never remember that guy's name. I'll obviously put a picture, but like I want to see what's going on with them because I really, really liked them as like a couple, especially when we got like little side stories for them. I just loved the story. I love Jinx. I know that it's not for everybody. I know people have their opinions and you're totally entitled to that. I still stand by, if you dropped it, but you're still kind of interested in it, start it over because I really want to restart it. I don't feel like I need to do that to like it more or anything. But it, as Mingwa said, it's a slow burn. And as I said in my wrap up, like that's the thing with like Tears on a Weathered Flower for me, is like I'm so glad I went back and reread it from the beginning. I wish it was over so I could just binge it all in one go. But it was good to start it over from the beginning because like the slow burn wasn't as slow not reading it weekly. I think the same thing might work out for you for Jinx if you're still kind of on the fence. Because once you start it from the beginning, it's like, you know, I don't know, that's just how I feel. So I feel I will sing the Jinx praises. That's just who I am. That's just who I am. We don't have to agree, but I love it and don't talk about it all the time. Next, Yes Ma'am. Yes Ma'am gets me because look at the new cover, and I have to be very careful because this is uncensored and there's a wiener right there. So let me, oh God. I don't know how the fuck I'm going to show you this. Yeah, we got dick, cum, titties, vagina. Oh, here we go. It's okay. Everybody can see. Look at this motherfucker over here in the damn corner. I don't want to see him. I don't want to see him. This is her ex, okay? And I'm pretty sure that the dynamic between them is she was more submissive to him and he was more dominating towards her, although like not the dynamic that they have. Okay. She, at the end of season 1, she basically broke things off with Ji-woo, and we open up and he's cutting himself again and he's drinking, and I hate this. We're gonna have some flashbacks towards the end of this episode. So we're about to go back in time and see more about like the dynamic that happened with her ex, because now that she's back on campus and back at school, guess who's also there? Her fucking bitch, fucker, asshole ex. And, you know, while I do see people, here's the thing. Y'all know I love to see a woman sandwiched between two men. If that's where a woman wants to be, I want to see women in that position, okay? Being worshipped. Being worshipped, ravished. Pick a word. Like, that is where you deserve to be if that's what you want. But not at the expense of my little baby, okay? Not at the expense of him. Obviously, they're going to be together in the end, so it's not really that big of a deal. But it's like, what if? What if somebody else comes along? Now, if somebody else comes along and does right by Ji-woo, then, girl, then guess what? You missed out. You missed out, Joo-hee. You really did. But I'm just so sad and sick to my stomach at the thought of her breaking up with him, and he is alone, drinking, cutting himself. Lord, I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Okay, let's see. Other than that, oh shoot, dude, I don't remember if we talked about the stuff I bought with my coins. Okay, we'll just talk about the stuff that, like, I've recently re-upped on or like bought the whole thing outright. Obviously, we did Yes Ma'am. We got, I think I did all of Swallow You Whole. I didn't buy all of it at first. She's purchased. Toying with Daddy. We're getting back into that. I'm going to start from the beginning. One Room TA. Have to start that. Blossoms of the White Night. I'm already following Revenge. Oh my God. I am so interested in the story. It's very dark. So like, know that before you read Revenge. But it's going to be very interesting. Like, as I've mentioned, I don't mind spoilers. So I know kind of what's going to happen in the end. But now that we're getting closer to where we see, not Ji-wook, Ji-yeon, right? Okay. Seeing like the connection between these two, because there is a connection. Now we're kind of seeing glimpses of his background. I still really need to go back and read the novelization of this because it's going to give me more, and it's done. But yeah. Love Tractor, Crown of Thorns, that's back. I need to start it back up. Behind the Scenes, I barely read that. Red Thread Quest, girl, I'm so far behind. Mid-Motion Syndrome, Driver's High, Private Tutoring. I still need to read Hardcore Vanilla. Winter Wolf, girl, so many things. You Are So Lovely. Sick that I haven't read that. Blah, blah, blah. I've got a bunch of stuff on here. And I'm very, very pleased. Very, 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 very pleased about the things that I will be reading. Oh, you know what I wish would come back? River of Bondage. Bring her back, please. I miss this one. I really do. Anyway, I don't need to ramble to y'all. I don't need to ramble. I don't know what I'm reading. I'm just going to pick things up as I go. I'm probably going to read some Netgalley, but we're going to be predominantly on this iPad. So without further ado, let's get to the end of this damn vlog. And we're going to have some fun. I promise you. We're going to have a lot of fun. I don't want to read too much because some of this stuff is going to be for Bazaar's readathon. But I'm so bad about planning it. Like, I've got a stack in my office. I'm like, okay, how am I going to do the rainbow stack? I'm probably overcomplicating things. Everything will work out in the end. I should also read some of the things that are beside me. So we'll see. We'll see. I know I said we're mostly going to be on the iPad, but maybe we'll do some other stuff. You know I always change my mind. Blah, blah, blah. I'll see you guys in a second. So on Netgalley, I managed to read 3 things. And honestly, all 3 of them were very good. I think I'm going to try out every single one of these. Like, as the series comes out, I'm going to follow it, basically. The first one is Fruit of the Underworld. I'll put a bigger picture up. I'm going to read you the synopsis. And all of these are the first in the series, so I don't want to give too much away since it's so early on, but I'll read the synopsis for you guys. Okay. The battle for the fate of the world begins with a single bite. All Saiji wants is to live like an ordinary high school kid, but for the past 10 years, an unending stream of accidents have made it a daily battle to stay alive at all. So when a mysterious messenger hints that the answer to Saiji's problems may lie in his past, he digs up a curious pomegranate he'd once found at the bottom of a well, rumored to lead to the underworld, and tries to get rid of it for good. Unfortunately, the unearthly piece of fruit wasn't all Saiji brought back with him, and his split-second solution may have just opened an ungodly can of worms poised to rock this world and the next to its very core. This is a really, really interesting concept. I don't know that I've ever read anything like this before, and I like it. I'm definitely intrigued. I'd like to continue on with the series. Pretty gross though. Okay, when they say just opened up an ungodly can of worms, there are worms in here. and there's now, okay, I will say this. Earthworms don't bother me, but like a parasitic type of worm is one of the grossest things to me. And some of these worms look like lampreys with the fucking little teeth mouths. Ah, so gross. But this is really, really cool. I like it a lot. It kind of reminds me of Blue Exorcist a little bit. And I don't know if you've read Blue Exorcist and you read this, let me know if you agree. It's not that like, it's hard to put into words. It's just something that I feel. Just something I feel. It's like one of the first things that I thought of when I was finished with this. I was like, this really is reminding me of something. Oh, and I realized I actually read 4 things. I forgot about that. Okay, so that one is a must read. Next, Cat Life Balance. This is so cute. So this is on the cuter side. So yeah, I'm gonna read this one. In this office romance manga with a feline twist, a people pleaser flirting with burnout discovers his antisocial coworker's secret. She only smiles when she's playing with stray cats. Now he's got a choice. Keep up the facade and keep saying yes to every extra task and happy hour, or risk his perfect work image to sneak off for some simple frisky fun. Fans of Sweat and Soap and Smoking Behind the Supermarket with You will love this new series from the creator of Cells at Work. I didn't know that. Okay, so as you guys know, I don't typically read the synopsis, and I get these, thankfully. Thank you, Kodachi, I love you. I'm auto-approved for all of these, so I typically don't read the synopsis. I just go by the cover or I get it automatically. I did not know that, so that's exciting. That's exciting. I also love Sweat and Soap. I have, I think, the first 5 or 6 volumes of Smoking Behind the Supermarket with You, but I haven't started it. Exciting. Okay, going back. Everyone at work loves Mamoru because Mamoru never says no, replacing light bulbs, carrying boxes, taking over an imposing client from a retiring colleague. He'll do it all, and it's earned him the nickname the Prince of the Office. This glittering extrovert's opposite at work, Kurone, a quiet woman in another department who soaks up her boss's senseless mood swings with blank stoicism. After one particularly long day, Mamoru is thrilled to be walking home alone, sipping a beer because all his colleagues went drinking and left him to work overtime, when he encounters something strange. The usually glum Kurone is in at the park, gleefully playing with stray cats. This secret seems silly, but it brings Kurone joy. It's the start of an unlikely relationship that will lead Mamoru to start reflecting on his life and who he really wants to share it with. Is work really all there is, or can he strike a balance with the help of these fluffy new friends and the human who might become something more? First of all, the cats are drawn adorably, okay? So cute. I am liking the progression of their relationship, although she did kind of piss me off at one point, but when, obviously you just have to remember, like, this is her personality and this is his personality. He is extroverted. He's extroverted. I'll just keep it simple like that. He's extroverted. He can talk to people easily. He's in the sales department, so obviously he's pretty good at that. She's in the administration department, and she's very quiet. So it's almost like on and off work-life imbalance in a way, except like it's not like, oh, we have like complete alter egos that are like, oh, we would be so shocked. But obviously people would be shocked by her real personality based on the cats. But of course we see something and I'm like, okay, that makes a lot of sense. And it made me kind of sad thinking about, you know, losing pets, losing anything that means anything to you. Like, it's hard. And obviously she gets a sense of joy from these cats. And I kind of see myself in that a little bit. Like, we don't have any pets anymore in terms of like indoor pets. And after Biddy died, you know, I told Devin like I would take a break from pets. And I think that it was a really good decision, but it makes me happy to take care of Cat. Now, originally Cat was other cat, and then there was Cat. I wasn't creative with the names, okay? But when I first met Cat, I just was like, I love Cat. I think Cat got adopted by my neighbor because he like came over one day and he was like, I like that cat. Is your cat? I'm like, not really. But then Other Cat has stuck around, and I love Other Cat. Other Cat is so sweet, and it makes me happy to take care of something, but it's like, I don't have like a huge responsibility, right? So I can kind of see why this whole thing means so much to her, and it brings her so much joy. And it's also allowing Mamoru, it's allowing him to not have to be like this, like the go-to guy. It sucks that like in the culture, like the work culture that he's in, like, I mean, as soon as he even like hints at possibly saying no or just having a boundary, people instantly treat him differently. And it's really sad that that is a reality, that people will do that to you when you don't like serve a purpose anymore. Like, oh no, God forbid I say I don't want to go out drinking. I want to go home and be alone. Like, but you said yes before. And it's like, well, that doesn't matter. Like, I'm allowed to say no. Because no is a complete sentence, everybody. Don't forget it. But I'm liking where it's going. I think it's, oh man, some of the scenes are very, very, very like beautifully drawn in my opinion. And I really like that. So I'm going to keep reading that one. I think I'm going to save the best one for last. So now we're going to, this one's good too. But I definitely want to save the best one for last because I'm definitely going to continue that one. So next I read That's Not Love, Volume 1. And the cover kind of looks like this. Obviously, I'll put the picture up. This is really interesting because I literally saw this today when I was at Books A Million. And I'm pretty sure I took a picture of it. And actually, if I took a picture, I'll put the picture up. And I was like, oh, this seems interesting, but I didn't read the back. I just kind of like flipped through it a little. And this is really interesting because let's read this together. I mean, both of us for the first time. Two female friends from middle school reunite as adults in this hard-hitting and personal drama manga. What begins as idle reminiscing leads to painful revelations as they heal the reopened wounds of their past in this highly anticipated first print release from the creator of 11/22 for a Happy Marriage. I literally just started watching that a week and a half ago. So that's really, really fucking weird. What an awesome coincidence. I saw a clip of that on TikTok, found it, it's on Amazon. And I think I'm like 2 episodes before it's over. And this show has been so interesting, but infuriating to watch. We'll get into that after, but let's finish this. And that's crazy that it's written by the same person. And now I can see it a lot too. Because the thing about the show is like, you really deal, I mean, these are just everyday people and how you can be selfish in situations, even if you mean well. So we'll get into that. Okay. Drawing on real events and the Japanese Me Too movement and Watanabe's own reflections on friendship and womanhood, That's Not Love won a place on the Industry Insider poll Kono Manga ga Sugoi as one of the best manga of the year. Ooh, okay. 40-year-old Akane attends the opening of a new art exhibit by her former cram school teacher, Mr. Amai, who has now become a sculptor. Akane notices that Mr. Amai's new sculpture bears a striking resemblance to her middle school best friend, Yukari, who she remembers suddenly transferred out of the school. It even has a distinct scar that Yukari shared with Akane privately. Wondering what this could mean, Akane reaches out to her old friend and learns that there was something else going on when they were children that she only partly understood. Was Yukari just a muse or something with more upsetting implications? I began thinking about situations where violence might not be recognized as violence, where it might be permitted for the sake of art or because of someone's talent, and about the hierarchies that exist between people in small, tightly bound businesses. Peko Watanabe, Japanese title Koi Jane Kara. Okay. So I'm going to actually spoil this one. So if you want to hear about it, we'll go flashing hands, and hopefully I remember to flash my hands again. And I'll try to keep it short. Okay, so flashing hands, we're getting into spoilers. So as it said, we're following one of the first main characters, Akane. We find out that she is an alcoholic. She suffered from bulimia. She has this family and she's doing this job, but she's not very happy in her life. And when she goes out and she sees this sculpture, she realizes this clearly is my friend, especially when she like goes there on purpose because she knows this is her former Korean school teacher. We get flashbacks to the time when she was in middle school, when she became friends with Yukari, a transfer student. And Yukari was very quiet. She was probably very likable, you know what I mean? But she was a very quiet, introverted person. She had had a surgery that, you know, gave her a very large scar down the front of her body. Akane is like the opposite of Yukari. Still quiet, but she was overweight. She didn't have many friends. It seemed like Yukari was her main and only best friend. And she was the kind of, well, she was bullied. She was bullied a lot, but she also, I think, to kind of save herself from having to feel, you know, the way some people, if you hurt yourself before someone hurts you, it's like you can steal yourself from the shitty words that someone else uses against you, right? Because you've already like, if I think this of myself, then nothing you say can hurt me. So we see a few glances of them when they're, you know, children, and what becomes, what unearths is that the teacher, Mr. Mai, was having an very inappropriate grooming relationship with Yukari. She was like 14 and he was 26. So there's literally no way that that was consensual on Yukari's part. This is a man who was grooming a child, full stop. And in the future, Akane, she is thinking about these moments when she was younger. You know, she's a kid. She isn't quite, I mean, are any of us ever, especially as young girls who are evolving and growing and experiencing life and, you know, kind of like figuring out who we are, you know, maturing, experiencing puberty, you know, we may think that an interaction with an adult, we might think that we're in control of a situation, or we think we know everything there is to know in a situation, but we don't. So now Akane as an adult is thinking back to what she saw as a kid, and having to kind of, what's the word? I mean, grappling with like, was that actually right? Did I interpret that right? Was I wrong in this? So she sees the sculpture. It's very obvious that that's her friend. And she's thinking back to, you know, this relationship that in her 14-year-old brain, she's thinking, oh, that's love. But as an adult, she's like, something wasn't right there. So she finds a way to get back in touch with Yukari. And we see that she is so different now. You know, she had very long hair when she was younger. Now she has a pixie cut. She seems even more quiet than she was when she was younger. And Akane basically tells her like, hey, you know, our teacher, like, he's a sculptor now. And I'm pretty sure he sculpted you. And the reason why she already knew that it was her, I mean, besides the face, is that it's a nude, like, bust. And there's a scar going up it, and there's flowers blooming. And it's like, bitch, obviously that's her, right? So Akane brings Yukari there, and because Yukari wants to see it. And she's having a very emotional reaction to it because it's emotional. It's very disturbing to see that. Some things we find out later from getting flashbacks is that apparently Akane and Yukari would have like a signal that would be, I need help. And, you know, this is a natural thing that happens, unfortunately, to young people as you start to develop some jealousy. I think especially for women and girls, we're not, I was talking to my friend about this recently. I don't think that we're really encouraged to speak openly with our other female friends. And passive aggressiveness is, it's not what, we're not trying to be passive aggressive, but because we're not encouraged to talk about our feelings, or to just like share how we feel about a certain situation, like maybe if we feel uncomfortable, we, you know, bottle it up, and then it kind of turns into being passive aggressive. And that's essentially what happened here. Yukari signals to Akane when they're younger, and Akane acts like she didn't see it. And then Yukari kind of disappears, right? It's shown that like people in the community find out about what's going on, and she is forced to leave by her parents. And he, the teacher, who is obviously wrong, is like, oh yeah, I'll come and see you. Akane, I'll come and see you. But nobody comes and sees Yukari. And I actually am wondering, like, if what we're going to find out is maybe she became pregnant, because it's very clear that he took it to another level. He ends up taking a nude photo of her. That's how, you know, there's this, you know, whatever, he's seen her naked. And I really do think that maybe she might have been pregnant, and that's why her parents sent her away. But we'll just have to see, because I will be continuing. But yeah, Akane, she gets really, really fucked up and wasted, and her husband confronts her. And I think that was really her, well, it's probably not her first, but it was a rock bottom moment for her, I think, when she had to like really reckon with like, and she's 14, so she really shouldn't be too hard on herself. But, you know, she realizes, I made a mistake. I should not have walked away, and I should have tried harder to figure out what was going on and not been jealous in that situation, because something was wrong. Obviously, she's an adult now, and she can look back at that situation and say, oh, no, this is not okay. So she keeps trying to talk to Yukari. Yukari's like, you know, I do feel like this is wrong. So now the conversation about like revenge porn is coming up. And of course, like the Me Too movement. All right, so this is a girl who was groomed by an older man who took advantage of her. And now he is making art of her, and he's selling it. And even though he seems a little apprehensive, his wife is the one who's like pushing him to do it. So everything comes to a head where, you know, Yukari and Akane both like agree, like, I think we should confront him. And because of someone else, they may go a legal route to like maybe sue him possibly, but they confront him. And his wife is like his manager. And it doesn't go well, you know. He kind of, I mean, it's just like what you would expect, right? He's kind of denying it. His wife is also like, actually, I think the sculpture looks like me. And even if that is the case, you know, whatever happened when you guys were, you know, a decade ago, you know, art is art. And it's like just a very dismissive, very, very, very dismissive thing. And it's like, his wife is clearly, well, at least I think, she seems very young. She seems a lot younger than him. So who knows? She may have also been groomed by him. They have a child, I believe. So what do you do in that situation? So it's like these layers of these, you know, I think we're going to see more and more women involved in this. And this man who, will he ever have to answer for the things that he's done? Because he committed a crime at 26. He raped a child. He groomed a child. And now it doesn't matter if he feels bad about selling it. You still made this art of her. And it's disgusting. So now someone's going to buy a piece of art based off of a child that you raped. Very, very, very interesting. So I definitely want to continue on with this. This is one of those stories that's like, oh, fuck. What is that one called? Senpai's Not Here Today or something? I'll put the picture up. I read that last year. You know, it's not, you know, it's not a shoujo. It's not one of these. It's something more, you know. So Flashing Hands, we're done with that. Basically, I will be continuing on with this series because I definitely want to see where this goes. I want people to get justice, and I want people to really have to own up to what they have put people through, you know. But to quickly talk about 11/22 for a Happy Marriage, like I said, I'm almost done with that drama, and that is a really interesting one. Like, I was sitting here so agitated, frustrated. I went through so many emotions because it starts off with, you know, and especially the clip I saw where it's like this man is having an affair and he seems happier with his affair partner. But, and okay, so here's another spoiler. So flashing hands if you do want to watch this, but you don't know what happens. So what actually is going on, and it really changed how I thought, right? Because at the beginning, I felt so frustrated for the wife, and I wish I could remember her name. I felt so frustrated for her because I kept thinking like, he's having an affair and he's happy and he's putting it all in her face. And what is she supposed to do? And now she's trying to initiate, you know, stuff with him. He's like, I can't. But when we find out the truth of why they stopped sleeping together, right? That they're in this marriage that to everyone else seems so happy. But the truth is that years ago, the wife, who has her own, you know, personal things, you know, childhood things, whatever, she says, you know, I don't want to sleep with you anymore. And she tells him, sleep with other people. It's fine. You can sleep with someone else. It's okay, because we can be family, we can be married and not have to have that. And I'm fine with that. And that crushes him at first because he's like, but I want everything with you. Like this man, anything could change, girl. But because again, it's shocked me when I found out what really happened. But this man genuinely cared for his wife and he wanted all of that. He wanted the sex, he wanted the relationship, he wanted that intimacy. And it doesn't even need to just be like having sex. Like there's an intimacy there that they don't have anymore. There is no snuggling. There is no, you know, there's like, okay, we have dinner together and we talk, but we could just be roommates, not sleeping in the same bed. You know what I mean? When he eventually starts taking up a hobby that he really enjoys, he meets a woman there and they have an affair and he is starting to fall for her. And now his wife is becoming jealous. He does push against some of the rules that she had in place, which was wrong, but I still understood like, okay, but now you're possibly getting something with someone else. I don't think it's right, but I can understand why it would happen, right? Girl, that other woman was married. Lord of mercy. So it was really mutually beneficial for him, but his wife knew that he was having an affair. Her husband didn't, girl. It got fucking crazy. Actually, I'm going to talk about it all, but I'm going to make it really quick. I'm sorry. So anyway, so, you know, she gets really upset and he's like, well, you know, oh, that's right. She tries to initiate sex. And he's like, I can't sleep with you because I'm not going to sleep with anybody while I'm sleeping with her. You know, that broke my heart. But then she decides like, oh, okay, well, I'm going to sleep with someone now. But that wasn't the agreement, mind you. The agreement was you're not interested in sex at all. And you're saying that your husband can sleep with someone else. Now, all of a sudden, we're in an open relationship. No, you're not. You're actually not, because you still need to talk to your partner. All right. So, you know, she's getting jealous over here. She's going to a brothel and she gets to fucking on somebody. Okay. A younger man, mind you. Side, the husband, you know, he's with the other bitch. And I am going to call her a bitch and you're going to find out why. Okay. So, you know, they're sleeping together. She's in a very loveless marriage. Okay. She has a child who has behavioral issues. So it's a lot. But her husband and the father of her child is very cold, right? So there's no affection in their relationship. But we do find out he actually does love her. But you see how the child is, you know that who's the daddy is, you know what I'm saying? Because like you can see that there's some eccentricities that clearly are genetic, I guess, to keep it simple. So, okay. I'm gonna start getting off topic. So anyway, so one night the affair partners they've slept together. They're talking and she's like, oh, you know, basically they got spotted by her husband in public. Nothing was happening, but he saw him and her together. And she's like, oh, we have to be more careful because my husband saw, you know, we wouldn't want, you know, your wife to see, you know, and he was like, but my wife knows that I'm having an affair. She knows about you. This bitch loses it. She is so fucking pissed off. She's like, what do you mean? I thought this was a secret between you and I. Sorry. Some people aren't in a fucking relationship like you, bitch. So anyway, then you got the fucking wife over here. You got this wife over here. I cannot remember her name. We're just gonna call her Yuki. It's something like that. She's going to this brothel trying to sleep with this young man. They finally get to sleep with each other. The night that they sleep together, girl, the husband, whose name is, I can't remember. And you know what? I could just pull the damn, no, that's too much work. Her husband, Yuki's husband, he's exchanging like gifts or something with the wife, with his affair partner. She has basically said like, her husband found out. He's like, you're coming with me. We're leaving because he has to go to, he has to transfer for work. And he knows that she was sleeping with someone else. So, you know, she's been these last few weeks like, yeah, you know, I'm leaving, da da da. Like, this is supposed to be their last night together. And she gets mad because he's like, I don't think that we should sleep together anymore. I think that we should be friends because I think I want to try to work on things with my wife, because he is like, I think my wife is sleeping with someone else. Because again, now you could sit here and be like, well, why do you care? But at the end of the day, they have not discussed her sleeping with someone else, right? Bitch, he was doing a Ikebana class, you know, like the where you put the pictures, decorate the flowers, the pictures, what the hell? But there's this like tool that you use that's like a round thing with spikes. She stabs him in the penis. She takes this and goes, pew, when he I almost screamed. I was not expecting that. So she maims him and she's like, I don't want you to sleep with anyone other than me, even if we're not together. And this man is almost bleeding to death in a love hotel. He tells her, get the fuck out of here, please. The fucking staff has to help him. Thankfully, his penis ends up being okay. But like when he's talking to the doctor's like, your penis is fine. You're gonna have PTSD though, girl, because what the fuck, this is a traumatic thing. So then the wife, you know, she's sleeping with the other person and, you know, she's again, we have not discussed this. Add to the fact that the thing about his wife is that she is very selfish, right? Obviously, she has a very strained relationship with her mom. Her mom is not right. Her mom is not a good person. Okay, she's a bitch. But at the same time, you are so cold. She's almost, I think his wife is Yuki, she's so cold to everyone in a way. Like, she keeps people at arm's length. And she constantly relies on her husband to take care of her mom. He has a really great relationship with his family, and that's awesome. But like, your mom is so negative that you're just like, well, I don't want to deal with that, so you do it. And it's like, how is that fair to your husband? So her mom is like in the hospital, dazed and confused girl. She's on fucking morphine. And guess who's there? The fucking son-in-law. And, you know, she's saying these things, da-da-da. And he's like, still trying to defend his wife, but he's like, she is kind of fucking selfish here. He pops up, the bitch is here, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, you know, okay. And now at this point, the wife knows that he has been assaulted, right? He's been stabbed. But he's still going to that class because even though his former affair partner, that's where they met, he liked this hobby. This hobby meant something to him. Okay, this is what he needed when she first fucking basically said, like, I just want to be roommates with you. We're married, but I don't want everything that comes with marriage with you. And I could understand how that would be painful because at the end of the day, if the roles were reversed, people would have more, I think, empathy for her if her husband had said that to her. But a lot of people would probably be dismissive of hearing her say that to him. Oh, because you get to sleep with somebody else. But it's like, but he didn't want to sleep with anybody else. And she kept pushing him to do it. So, she's like, she's like, why did you go to that class? Because he comes in with flowers. She's like, you're just flaunting this in my face. Excuse me, bitch. So, you know, after this, they go to sleep. They sleep on it. He wakes up and he's like, okay, well, I'm going to see it from her point of view. Again, he compromises a lot more than she does, okay? I think he is always trying to make her feel good, and she doesn't necessarily always care about how he feels, right? So he's like, okay, you're right, I'm not gonna go here. And she's like, oh no, it's fine. What kind of whiplash? Like, bitch, you had me all fucked up last night, screaming and yelling at me, telling me to fucking don't do that shit. And all of a sudden you change your fucking mind. Why? Because that man that she was fucking on, the brothel boy, we don't even really know how old he is, girl. He's like 10 years younger than her. Okay. He decides to text her now. She's all like, oh, yeah. Getting a little attention, getting a little entertainment. And that's exactly when her husband is like, oh, something's going on. Because she's like, we all have our little things that make us happy. Yeah, well, he's not fucking on anybody anymore, bitch. So, you know, she is out in public with the dude, okay, being all affectionate and shit. She looks her husband dead in the fucking eye, dude. And he's like, I was sick. I almost threw up. I was so sick and disgusted. The fucking, I don't know the boy's name. I just call him brothel boy every time because I was really pissed off. And he worked at a brothel, so I'm not trying to be derogatory here. So brothel boy's like, oh, that's your husband? Well, I mean, we're just holding hands. Can't friends hold hands? Not when they fucked, okay? I'm sorry. I'm putting my foot down here. Y'all have been fucking and talking about the fucking that y'all been doing, and y'all clearly want to fuck again. No, you're not friends, okay? Especially because she's still fucking married, and he didn't know that y'all were fucking, and that wasn't a part of the rules. So fuck you. So the bitch falls asleep at home. She wakes up, and her husband's scrolling through her shit, as he should. And honestly, we don't have to agree, but if you think something, fuck it. Look, sorry. So she's like, what are you doing? Give me my phone. Mind you, she looked through his shit. You see what I'm saying? She's a hypocrite. She tries to lie to him at first. And it's like, she has this like superiority thing that really, really would piss me off. And it's like, bitch, you've now lied about it. And then he's like, well, but she's like, we're in an open relationship. He's like, are we in an open relationship? What the fuck? No, we're not. Oh, and this is the other thing, because he is having a mental, block. Like he's traumatized by being stabbed in the fucking cock and balls, by a fucking ikebana thing. When they are trying to have sex, like he can't. So instead of her talking to her fucking husband about this, right? She's talking to the other dude, but not to like actually give a fuck about her husband. So he sees this in the text message, like, you're talking about me? You're talking about my penis? And that's where she really lost me, okay? Because, like, I was willing at first to be like, okay, like, I can kind of understand, I'm seeing, like, she has all this childhood trauma, but then, excuse me, you're not even trying to help your husband. You put him in the situation, okay? I was sick and disgusted. I was just disgusted by the actions of this woman. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to get into a long tangent about this, but it was very shocking to me. I'm like 2 or 3 episodes behind. I already looked at the captions for the next episode. So, they try to work on their marriage. Some other stuff happens, but that brothel boy doesn't leave yet, girl, and that really pissed me off. So, in the end, from what I understand, I'm thinking that the way that this is going to end, since it's by the same creator of this J-drama, I'm not sure I'm going to like it. I'm not sure I'm going to like the ending. And by that, I mean, it's not going to be one where, well, no. See, here's the thing. They're all adults in this situation, and there is communication that happens, but I guess the thing is, it's not satisfying in the way that like a fictional story can be, right? Like when things are wrapped up nicely in a bow. Real life typically isn't like that. So that's another reason why I do like the show. And I think I will like this, because at the end of the day, I think it's going to be really frustrating for me, especially as a woman. We're talking about things that, women, in a patriarchal society deal with. And it's very, very, very infuriating and aggravating to see, women and girls be disrespected, and anybody, but women and girls being disrespected, being treated this way, being dismissed, being blamed, because like to a certain extent, Yukari is blamed for what's going on. And that's not fair, because she was 14. And she was not the adult in the situation. He was, and he is the one who was wrong. Will her sculpture be taken down? Will he be exposed? If this is based off real life, unfortunately, even if he's exposed, cancel culture doesn't typically affect men. Let's be honest. A lot of men, male celebrities, singers, whatever, they get to come right back, or they never ever get pushed to the side at all. So if I'm basing it off of what is more like reality, he probably will get exposed for what he did, but because it's art, people are going to brush it to the side. I mean, how many artists, I'm thinking of a particular singer, who still is consistently beating up women, stalking and harassing women. People still go and see this singer and pose with him all freak nasty. So yeah. I'm probably not going to be happy with the ending. But hopefully Yukari is healed in the best way that you can be. Akane is healed and forgives herself for what she's a kid. Like, you can't really blame yourself, you know what I'm saying? But either way, I'm interested in reading that. And lastly, from the Netgalley things I read, Wicked Spot Volume 1. So yeah, I will definitely be continuing on with this series. This looks so good. And it's giving Yuri. It's giving a bit of a GL, and I hope it turns into that. If not, it's going to be really good friends, and that makes me happy too. One witch's foray into the magic of social media flings her and an unnaturally strong, witch-hating young woman into a fantastical, flirtatious adventure. Magic meets the modern day in the first installment of this witchy influencer fantasy rom-com, manga, perfect for fans of Yuri and Rip Roaring. And there you have it. Again, in real time, we're both figuring this out. Rip Roaring romps. By the swiping of my thumbs, something wicked sexy this way comes. Bored out of her mind after hiding for nearly a century in a decrepit cabin deep in the woods, Seda the witch stumbles upon modern-day social media and is instantly spellbound. Just as she will soon discover, even the strongest supporters can swiftly become dedicated trolls, and some attention may portend more toil and trouble than she bargained for. This is really, really funny, and it's very interesting, and I really do find it interesting that, like, there is that element of, this witch who was told, you can't let humans know who you are, has been so lonely that eventually when she's introduced to a cell phone and she quickly picks up social media, she's like, oh, I can be connected to people. And it makes being around humans less scary. So she gets out there and she becomes an influencer. And there's somebody who's watching her who is looking up to her and feels like she sees herself in her, or at least is inspired by her. And when she says that she's a witch, trying to be honest with people, because that girl had been called a witch due to her extreme strength and stuff, it now twists her love into hatred for her, for the witch, basically. And it really is interesting to me, the way people do troll. And it's like, this girl is, she's been bullied, she's been mistreated, she's been misunderstood, and she's being used now as an adult by someone who she's desperate to be friends with. And when somebody that she seemingly looks up to, but she doesn't know face to face, because she's miserable and unhappy, but she sees this person being happy, it makes it turn into hatred. And it's interesting how that can be really how it happens for people. So I absolutely want to continue on with that series because I think it's going to be really, really fun to read. So yeah, I'm definitely going to get into that. I think it'll be good. Lastly, I'm just kind of picking things up here and there on Tappytoon and Webtoon. I think I want to get into, what is this? Oh yeah, girl. My First Love. This is by the creator of Red Thread Quest or Red String Quest. I didn't know this was on Webtoon, so we will be reading this. But I might be unlocking a few things on Webtoon. I'm interested in X Love Review. After School Lessons to Unripe Apples. That looks good. That seems like it's 2 seasons, but it's mostly free to read. So there's a bunch of stuff that I'm interested in. So yeah, I'm gonna stop the thing. I'm gonna stop the vlog now. It's 8:44. Tomorrow's a work day. I'm going to be hopefully editing some stuff. Maybe we'll start another video. I don't know. Tomorrow's kind of busy in terms of phone calls, but hopefully, knock on wood, not too much of like interviews. I still don't have a team yet, so we're waiting on that. I'm getting nervous. It'll be interesting. So now it's going to be interesting juggling all of this. As I said, I will never stop reading. Work will never stop me from reading. That's just never going to happen. But I know I have to be responsible. Adulthood, why? But I'm still going to give it to y'all. I'm never going to let that stop. I still like what I do, and that's what I said. As long as I still enjoy reading and talking, booktube's gonna stay. So Constance a reader, yeah. So anyway, thanks you guys. Hopefully this one wasn't too freakishly long. I'm sorry I ranted a little bit about 11/22, but I just had to talk about it because I haven't talked about that in a while. I haven't really talked to y'all about a show I've watched, so we're having fun. That's what's important. Anyway, I hope you liked the video. And I hope you have a good day. So thank you. If you like the video, please like the video. If you like and subscribe, hit the notification bell, follow me on other social media. It's in the description box down below. And you have a good day. Goodbye.